All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Team Keto Evolution Inspire Better series. My name is Melissa May, and I will be the host of our call tonight. I am so very excited to interview one of my good friends and one of the very first people who saw the vision like I saw it 4.5 years ago when I first started drinking ketones. If someone shared this call with you, it's because they thought that this story might resonate with you. Trish has an incredible story of not only how the product and how ketones have transformed her life, but like her fat loss and her physical, transformation, but also the big impact story for her is how the company Pruvit and the culture in the community, how that impacted her life. And so I'm really excited for you guys to hear her story tonight. If you're new here, let us know below. If you are new to ketones and you're kind of just wanting to learn more, we actually have something called a turkey trim challenge coming up starting on November 13th. Which comes with all three of these incredible tools for you to use to stay on track this time of year, to give you energy. These are drinkable ketones, right? And they put your body into ketosis within 60 minutes of drinking them. It's a great tool to use through the holidays. I love drinking these before I go to a family member's house, right? Before I go eat a big meal, I love drinking these so that I'm not just eating everything in sight. I'm a mom of toddlers, so I love drinking these every day in general, just for the energy and for the benefits like better mood, better focus, better sleep. It's incredible. And so this is one of my favorite tools, even when I'm not focusing on fat loss, right? During the holidays, maybe you're not focusing on fat loss, but you still want to feel good. You still want to be in control. Maybe consider joining our turkey trim challenge, grabbing a kit. If you see this video before November 13th, jumping in with the 10-day challenge kit is how I always recommend people get started. It's an incredible tool. You literally take this packet, you put it in ice and water, and you drink it. It tastes delicious, and you feel it. You feel the benefits of this starting to work immediately, right? So I would love for those of you who are on right now, and when you watch this video, tell us what is your favorite benefit of ketones. You can put it in the chat. You could comment. What is your favorite benefit of ketones? Mine is energy, for sure, and mental clarity and mental focus. Curbed appetite, I love that too. I always tell people when I first started drinking these, my twins were 3 months old. And I shouldn't have had the energy I had. I was working full time. I had 3-month-old twins. My husband was traveling for work. We were remodeling a house. We were so busy. And for some reason, I was like the most alive ever. People would comment that I had way too much energy and they had no idea how I was doing it. And this is how I was doing it. I would not have survived that first year of motherhood, working full time. I didn't need to come home and take naps. I came home and instead I would do a workout. I would clean. I would go organize all the junk drawers because I felt so focused and motivated to just do things. That's what this does. When your brain is fueled properly, so many other things in your life improve. And so with that being said, I have my friend Trish on. Now, I would love for her to share her journey with ketones and what that was like for you. Trish, were you a skeptic at first? Were you like, no, if Melissa says they do that, I believe her? Like, what was your thought process when you first heard about ketones? And then what was your experience from drinking that?
Of course, my dog's decided to bark right now. So the thing for me was definitely seeing you full of energy was one of the things that drew me in to ketones, because I knew Melissa before Pruvit, and I knew that she had twins, and I was like, my kids are teenagers. They were preteens at the time, and I did not have energy. And so back then, I was literally working to the bone. I was the operations director of a restaurant chain, working 70 to 90 hours a week. To say that I was exhausted was literally the understatement of the year. But aside from that, I was having some challenges with my health and with my weight. And so I was looking for a solution. Just like other people, right? We want the magic pill, we want the cure-all, we want it to be as simple as possible. And if there was something out there, and you've heard this, I'm sure, from a lot of us, and probably a lot of you guys feel this way, I tried it. If there was something on the market that someone said, try this, it's going to work, I did. And I probably had thousands of dollars worth of things in a closet. Not probably, I did, that were literally just sitting there collecting dust. And it was either I would buy it and it was gross, like it tasted really bad, or I would, how many of you guys have like got ready to get ready for a new lifestyle? So you go out and you buy like all of the supplements and all of the tablets and all of the things, and then you just don't get started because like the holiday rolls around and you're like, but pumpkin roll, or, you know, whatever. And so it just sits there. And so I saw Melissa, who had these brand new twins, and she's like bouncing off of the walls with all of this energy. And I had already been doing keto for a little bit, and I was seeing some success, but I just still didn't have any energy. And so I was like, okay, I need to get this stuff. But yes, I was 100% a skeptic because I had already tried literally everything. And none of it worked for me, or it just wasn't doable in my lifestyle. So we're all looking for something simple. And so that's probably what made me the biggest skeptic, was the fact that it was like, oh, you just have to drink this. Like, no, just drink it. Like, you're just going to mix it in water and you're going to drink it. It's that easy. And nothing had ever really been that easy, right? It was like, yeah, right. Okay. But I was desperate. Like, that's probably the one word that comes to mind, is that I was so sick of being sick and tired. And I was so miserable, I guess is the word. I would go to work every single day. I would get up at 4:30 and I would leave, and I would work 10, 12-hour days. And it was literally all I could do to come home and crawl on my couch. Like, and I was, to say the least, a horrible human being to my family. All of the stress of the day, the lack of energy was pushed off on them. And so when ketones found their way to my door, I was like, okay, well, this isn't really going to work, but we're going to go ahead and give it a shot. And unlike some of you guys who meet a lot of us on the interwebs or, you know, online, I actually knew Melissa. And I knew that if she was standing behind it, that I could believe in it, right? And so some of you guys might not have that, but we have so many amazing people with testimonials and stories now to show how it works. And so I ripped open my first packet the minute it got there, and I drank it down. And guys, back then we had 3 flavors. And I think the first one I tried was Maui Punch, and it was so beautiful in the glass. And I was like, this has to taste good. And it was amazing. And I was not a person who felt the energy in like the first sip, the first pack, like some people do. It was more of a slow and steady for me. But what I started to notice was by day 3, I had so much like focus, which was something that I never had before. And then it was like, all of a sudden it was like the subtle things, like, wow, I didn't have to take a nap when I got home today. And then it was like my kids and my family were starting to notice. They were like, are you okay? Like, what's really going on here? Like, you're being really nice. And then the weight started coming off, to the point that my husband accused me of going to the gym while I was supposed to be working, because weight was coming off, and he didn't believe that the product was really doing it for me. So it was everything that I didn't know that I needed and everything that I hoped that it would be.
I love that you said your husband was accusing you of going to the gym when you were out.
And if you guys know me, there was and I know a lot of you guys probably don't on this call, if you're watching the replay, there was no gym in my life. Okay. There was no gym in my life for the whole, I've been drinking ketones for over 4 years. I literally just started going to the gym like 4 months ago. So
I love that. I love that so much. That's incredible. And for me, I did have one of those first dose experiences. I didn't actually think that I was like, the fat loss was happening. And then at day 10, so I didn't weigh myself at all. And then day 10, I weighed myself and I was down 5 pounds of fat. But what was actually the most eye-opening was I took photos. So man, I wish I would have known like what this would look like 4.5 years later. I would have taken much nicer photos. Like my bed was a mess, my mirror was dirty, like I had an unmade bed in the background, but you could very distinctly see that I had lost inches in my core. So Trish, what was your fat loss? Like how much did you lose when you started drinking ketones?
In my first 10 days drinking ketones, I lost 8 pounds. Now I didn't really track my inches because like we didn't know the things now that we know now. And really truly just thinking like, it's not going to work anyways. I really didn't have any, like, even though Melissa said, hey, make sure you do this and this, same. I had like terrible lighting in my photos, just horrible pictures. But 8 pounds. And so obviously, and I think I can be transparent about this because this is how we roll. I was like, okay, like I feel good, but it's just a fluke, right? So I went and bought crappy ketones at GNC, but I did. And I gained back 10 pounds. And so then I was like right back in Melissa's messages and I'm like, all right, I need another 10 days of this stuff, right? And so overall, in 4.5 months drinking ketones, and at that time I was drinking just a pack a day, and I was following like a lazy keto diet. I lost 65 pounds in 4.5 months. So I went from in between a size 14, 16 to a size 4.
That's incredible. I had a similar experience. So I had twins, obviously. So I was 230 pounds when I delivered my twins. I had lost, obviously, at least they were 7 and 6 pounds. So, I had lost a lot of weight just from giving birth. But when I started drinking these, it was about after 60 days, I was down 20 pounds, but it wasn't just like, it wasn't weight loss, right? It was fat loss. Because 20 pounds in 60 days, like is a decent number, but the inches of fat, the way my body changed, the composition of my body, because I maintained the muscle, because one of the benefits of ketones is muscle preservation. So you're losing fat and preserving your muscle. So the scale doesn't always shift super fast, but you'll notice your pant sizes get smaller and smaller. And that's what I experienced. 5 pounds in 10 days isn't a lot to run home and, yell about, but the pant sizes were shrinking. Like I was shopping in the juniors department in the store, and I could fit into the smallest size pants I could ever remember wearing. And that was a big deal for me. And, I've just absolutely loved helping people make this process easier for themselves. I never counted, I never tracked. I followed a lazy keto. Was I strict? No. Did I enjoy the holidays and birthday parties and everything else because I had this tool? Absolutely. And so this is an incredible tool, you guys, whether you're going to be keto or not. That's kind of the point. You get the benefits of being in ketosis: fat loss, energy, focus, better mood, better sleep, clearer skin, better digestion, appetite control. Whether you're following keto or not, whether you're following it perfectly or not, you're going to get those benefits. And that's why this is so powerful, because I can't stress how often I hear from brand new people trying to do keto that, like Trish said, they don't have energy, or they are afraid, they can't live their life because they're afraid to go off track and ruin everything that they've done, or they're just struggling to get into ketosis because it is challenging to get in the amount of fat that you actually have to get in to get your body into ketosis with the diet alone. So just follow a carb conscious lifestyle, drink the ketones, and you're getting the best of both worlds. And so what happens is when someone starts drinking these and they have incredible results, like Trish and I both had, then we need to start telling everyone we know, because we can't keep something that makes us feel this good to ourselves, right? And so Trish, I would love for you to just share your experience with the community, but how you got started, because you did not want to promote. You did not want to sell this. You did not want to share it. You didn't want to pester your friends and family, which I never made you do anyway. But tell your story. How'd you get started with actually becoming a promoter?
So for me, this is definitely where the sauce is. the product definitely changes our life. And you'll hear a lot of us say, like, we came for the product, but we stayed because of the community. And it really couldn't be more true, because it was everything that I didn't know that I needed. I was a person who, let's talk about like maybe like I was going to say generational curses, but that's not it. Generational cycles, right? I was the first person in my family, one of a few, to graduate high school. I was the first person in my family to go to college. And so to work in a professional career, that was enough to be considered successful, right? I had a lucrative position with a nice salary. That also came with a lot of stress. So when I started literally obsessing over the product, what I was doing, what people naturally do, right? What do you do when you find the best deal of the season? You go on social media and you share about it. What do you do when you find, your favorite restaurant or a great salon? We talk about it. And so I was just naturally talking to people about what I was doing, not in any way trying to get them to buy the product or anything like that, just because I was just sharing what I was doing. And people naturally also that I worked with and was actually seeing in real life were like seeing the difference, right? People see it way before we do most times. And so I started sharing the referral program, because I'm going to be completely honest. Even having a 6-figure income in my previous career, we were broke. And that's stuff that people don't like to talk about, but it was the truth. We were up to our eyeballs in debt. We were barely, literally just getting by paycheck to paycheck. We were one literal thing away from a meltdown. Like if one thing broke, it was out of budget, whatever. But even with all of that, I wasn't looking for a financial solution. I thought that that's just what you did. Like, my boss capped what my wage was worth. I was already in the top of the food chain, hoping for more. And being that I worked 70 to 90 hours a week, guys, like I worked 7 days a week. I didn't have downtime. I was like, I can't add anything else to my plate. I'm already stressed out. I have 3 kids. I'm already working like crazy. And so Melissa was like, oh, you should join me. And I was like, yeah, you do that. You're doing such a good job. I'll support you from over here. And I was using the referral program because, hello, 6 figures, but broke. I needed a way to pay for my obsession with ketones. And then my husband was stealing my ketones. And I was like, I'm going to get divorced if I don't find out how to get more ketones, because he keeps stealing them. And so I was sharing them with people and using the referral code. And I was enrolling quite a lot of people using the referral code. And Melissa kept saying, like, hey, you're my friend. I love you. Thanks for doing that. But like, you could be making this money. And I just kept saying no. And so I remember it like yesterday, and I share this often. I was literally sitting in Whole Foods parking lot for work. And I remember thinking, like, maybe I should do this. Maybe I could make a few dollars and pay down some of this debt. And I said, if she asks me one more time, like, what do I have to lose? Right. And I'm not even joking when I tell you this, literally less than 2 minutes later, sitting in that same parking lot, she messaged me. And I was like, there's my sign, right? But then the challenge was, where am I going to get the money? And all of these negative thoughts that enter your mind, like, but I don't know anybody. I had less than 200 friends on Facebook. I didn't have time for social media. I didn't even really use it. I'm like, the only people I see is the people I work with, and they're more broke than me. Who is going to buy this from me, right? And I don't know what it was. It was just that thing, that instinct, that gut feeling that if she asked me one more time, it was the universe, whether you believe in that or, God or whatever, pushing and saying, like, here's your sign. What do you have to lose? And so I said, yeah. And I literally, guys, I actually vomited when I swiped my credit. Like, I'm not even kidding. I was like dry heaving when I made the purchase, because it was a lot of money. Back then we didn't have quite so many options and ways to get started. And so it was a big investment. It wasn't the big investment in the realm of business though. And I was a business minded person. I ran restaurants. Like, I knew return on investment and all these things. And I was like, okay, when I put my mind to something, I can do it. Like, I know I can do it. And if Melissa can do it, so can I. So I said yes. And I really wish if I could have gone back, I would have told myself to do it sooner. I never, ever could have. I would have laughed in your face if you would have told me 4.5 years ago that my life would look the way that it looks now. not because of the physical transformation. That's great. That's wonderful. Okay. Like you can lose, just like you can make $1 million a million ways, you can lose weight a million ways, right? If you're determined enough, you're going to find a way. I believe in the product. And at that point, that's the only thing I believed in. I didn't believe in myself. I was facing some really challenging things mentally. I had fallen down a lot. And after you fall down so many times, you kind of start to wonder if you can get back up. But Melissa believed in me. And so she lent me that belief, right? And the community then grabs a hold of you in ways that you didn't even know that you needed. And so everything that was missing in my life, I never desired to be a stay-at-home mom. I had pride in creating success. I loved leading people. I loved being able to, rise to the top of something. I didn't know that you could have both. I came from a school that you worked, you got a job, and that's what it was. It was a job. And as long as you were making good money and you could provide more to your family than what your parents provided you, you were winning, right? And you just worked until you died. That's it. That's what you do, right? You don't find something that you're passionate. That's like rare. People don't find that. They just go to work and you work until you die. And then maybe you leave and go get a job that pays you more money, but you don't love it. Maybe some of you guys do. That wasn't my story, right? And so what I did quickly realize was that my kids were getting older. I didn't have toddlers. I had teenagers. My kids were, going into high school. My son's in college now, one of them. Time was slipping away and I was missing everything. I was allowed one weekend off a year. I worked every weekend. I worked every single holiday. And I didn't know that what my kids wanted most wasn't the things that I could buy them, but my time. And so that was the biggest blessing for me, was being able to start chipping away at things that were lingering over me that were creating stress, like debt, like, being scared to answer the phone because I didn't know which bill collector it was, or how, like right now, this would have been the most stressful time of the year for me because it would have been like, okay, what are we not paying so that we can buy Christmas? Or how much credit card debt am I going to have to resolve after the fact kind of stuff. And so I was literally just a bystander. I was a spectator to my own life. And so this community and this opportunity and saying yes, and just letting someone else have faith in me to guide me, to show me how to do this, and just literally sharing something that was working for me and so many other people, it didn't just change my life, it literally gave it back to me in ways that I didn't know that I needed or didn't know was possible. And so 3 years ago, I literally, and this is a whole nother live and a whole nother story, I had the most epic resignation of life. And I walked out of that crappy, crummy job and never looked back. And now we have literally the utmost freedom. Literally, I am in control every single day of how I show up, how I'm present for my family, for my kids, what I say yes to, who I spend my time with. And it's the biggest blessing that we could have ever asked for that we didn't know we needed.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Like, I don't think like it's the time, right? That's the one thing that none of us can ever get back. It's the most like priceless, like thing that we all have is time, and we never know how much time we have. And so to be able to have an opportunity like this that allows us to make incomes, because I'm very similar, Trish. I wanted time with my new babies, but I didn't want to sacrifice my income and my lifestyle to have that. There's nothing wrong with that. If someone wants to be a stay-at-home mom and they're willing to sacrifice, they're willing to budget, they're willing to, more power to you, right? Cut coupons, whatever you have to do. That wasn't me. I didn't want to feel guilty when I went and got my hair and nails done. I didn't want to feel guilty if I wanted to get a massage. Diapers and formula were really expensive. Daycare was really expensive. So I wanted to come home, but I also didn't want to lose my income, right? And this opportunity just completely gave me the ability to do both, like be in control of my time while being home with my babies and being able to make an income at the same time. And for you, I mean, there was no greater joy than when you texted me this past, spring or fall, and you were at Kira's cross country. and you're like, I would have never been able to be here. I would have been working right now. And like, or were you at her volleyball? I don't know. You or something. It's probably been both because she does all of the things, right? But for the fact that like you, like birthday parties, I remember you messaging me at family members' parties and weddings that were on weekends. And you're like, Melissa, I would have never been able to be at these things.
Yeah.
Like I can't ever put like a price on what it, like getting this time back, right? Your kids are really small for a certain amount of time.
No, because guys, like the money, listen, I have never been, that's a lie. Money motivates all of us, whether you realize it or not, right? Because we can say it's impact, we can say it's whatever, but the more money you have, the more impact you can make. Money doesn't make people bad. That's like an old crap story we tell ourselves. But for me, it definitely is the time. And like, because you can't get more of that. It is things that I didn't realize that like I didn't have present parents, and it's not because they didn't love me, it's because they didn't have the ability because they were at a job. And so I was always the kid who didn't have a parent at the chorus concert that was in the middle of the day or at the after school activity. You know, as a turnkey kid from as long as I can remember because my parents were always at work. And I didn't want to be that. I didn't want to get the play-by-play from somebody else about my daughter, you know, having her personal best or, you know, whatever. And, you know, like I still get up. My daughter's a freshman in high school. I drive her to school every day. I get up at 5:30 in the morning when I don't have to get her, you know, and drive her, because it's those little bits of time while they still want to spend it to me that I get to enjoy. And that's a really selfish thing, but it's the best thing for me. And like, for those of you guys watching this, like, not everybody comes in. I didn't come into this business looking for financial freedom. I didn't think that that was possible when I said yes to this opportunity. I had no idea what was in store for me. I was just like, I remember Melissa asking me like, what's your goal? And she was just trying to pull a goal out of me so that I had something to anchor to. And I was like, I don't know, like $100 a month. And she literally laughed at me. And I was like, you're not being a very good friend, just laughing at me. Like, what, $100 sounds good to me. And she was like, no, I'm going to need you to dig a little bit deeper than $100. And I was like, but I really just didn't think, because you guys hear so many people, oh, nobody makes money at those things and blah, 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 blah. And so if you're thinking that, like, literally anything is possible, but this was like, you guys are hearing this is 4.5 years later, right? And I think that the biggest reason that people don't get to this point where we are, like, we're not lucky. We're lucky because we actually are in control of our lives, but we worked really hard to get here. And like, you can create anything that you want if you're willing to put in the work, right? And so, but the time, like Melissa said, you can't create more of it. So whether it's time with your spouse, time with your nieces and nephews, your significant other, your family, your parents, like whatever it is the biggest blessing to get to utilize your time without somebody telling you when and how you can do that.
I could just go on and on and on, like, being at the kids' Halloween costume parade at preschool. Like, it was at 9 a.m. I was one of the only parents. It was all grandparents there because all the other kids' parents are at work. So it's just like, it's the biggest blessing. And it all started because we said yes to this. And we decided that because we loved how this made us feel, we were going to share it. And now I like to say we sell white powder on the internet.
To strangers. Yeah. And like, legal. The thing is, guys, yeah, it's legal. But like, I think the biggest message is like, if you're not willing to take a risk on yourself, you're never going to know. And it's like, for me, that was it. Like, I think back to that all of the time. And my husband and I sit and like, we're doing like this huge project in our house right now. And like, we've been able to pay cash for literally, like, we don't have a mortgage. Not many people, I'm 41 years old, can say like, I don't have a mortgage. And so it's given us so much, but like, I think back all the time, like, what if I wouldn't have said yes? I'd still be like, guys, I saw my old boss in a 4-way intersection the other day. And I was like, oh, hallelujah, praise Jesus. I don't have to listen to that man anymore. Like, but like, we just settle, whether it's the body that you're in, the whatever, like, you think that you have to be like that. This is just what you have to do. And I go back to a thing I think about all the time. If you're not changing it, you're choosing it. If you're not changing it, you're choosing it.
Mhm.
Like there are opportunities and things, and like I just want to shake people sometimes when it's like you really don't understand how powerful this can be if you're just open to it and willing to do it. That's it.
Yeah. And if you've never tried it before, like that is what I would recommend. Like go grab a 10-day challenge, join the turkey trim challenge if you're watching this before November 13th. Get with a promoter who can help you get started, who has resources and tools available to help you. There's tons of us. I know our whole team, Keto Evolution, we have incredible team members. We are always running challenges and things for you. And so get with the person that you know, ask them how you can get started, right? And let's do this. It starts with this. It's so easy. We're not asking you to change your whole lifestyle. We're asking you to maybe start becoming carb conscious at certain meals, but drink this, let this do the work. Drink this in the morning before you eat something. Allow your body to feel hungry and eat when you actually feel hungry, not when the clock says noon and the whole world told us that we're supposed to eat lunch at noon, even if you're not hungry at that time of day, right? Again, drink it in the afternoon, wait till you're hungry, eat until you feel full, right? And so this is going to be a tool that helps you in so many different aspects. And then when you want to start telling everybody in your life about it, that's when you reach out to your the person who shared this product with you and say, all right, now I want to join Team Keto Evolution. And we are one of the best teams in the company. I don't just say that. We actually have multiple team members on our team who are company trainers. We have incredible, like just an insane amount of car owners on our team. Trish is one of them. She's actually a pro champ on our team. So she's a rank 7 promoter. Her team's incredible. She's an incredible leader. We have in-person social media training events. So we have literally so many resources. We have a new promoter launch program. We have just endless amounts of tools and resources to help you become successful. So once you try the product and you love the product and you want to start sharing it and you want to start making some side money for sharing it, then we can help you do that too. Thank you so much, Trish. Any last words?
Thanks for having me. Just do it. In the words of Nike, just do it. Listen, do it scared, do it nervous, do it messy. There's no wrong way. You just have to try. I mean, I let the level end with this. Like, if you want something you've never had, you've got to do something that you've never done. Otherwise, you're living in the definition of insanity.
Absolutely.
So, take the leap.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Trish. All right.
Bye. Thank you.
Hey, everyone.